hockey friends and families around the world, and welcome to another episode of Our Girls Play Hockey. I'm your host, Lee Elias, joined by my co-host, Hayley Scamurra, and today we're celebrating a truly unique and historic moment in women's hockey. The Puerto Rico women's national team captured gold at the IIHF Women's 3-on-3 Series in Buenos Aires, Argentina this past November. Some of you may have seen that news online. They defeated the host nation in dramatic come-from-behind fashion, overtime victory. It's the stuff of dreams. It was a tournament full of grit, creativity, joy, and one that's quickly become a defining moment for hockey in Puerto Rico, which you're going to hear a little bit about today. Now, full disclosure before we get going, I have the absolute honor of serving as the team's head coach. You should probably know that before we get into this. I was there. I lived it. I was on the bench. So for this episode, Hayley will be leading most of the conversation as we welcome several of the players who helped make this gold medal story happen. And it really is an amazing story, audience. You're going to really love it. So there were clutch goals. There were breakout performances. The team culture was strong. It really carried us through the adversity, which we'll unpack as well, that entire journey. And we're going to share the lessons that apply to every player, coach, and parent out there, because there's a lot here. Let's get started. Our first two guests today are skaters Anastasia Sloan, or Stas for short as we call her, just finished a 4-year NCAA D1 collegiate playing career and student career at Sacred Heart University, and Kaylee Leffler, who played for UMass Boston, another hockey town. These two connected for the game-winning goal in overtime in the championship game, and Katie was named forward of the tournament. Both things we'll visit in a few. Katie, Stas, welcome to Our Girls Play Hockey.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're excited.
I'm excited to have you.
Well, congratulations, you guys, first of all. That's so incredible, and I'm so happy for you guys. I got to watch the video of the comeback, and it was absolutely incredible. You could, feel your energy through the screen. So I want you guys to take me back to that gold medal game against Argentina. What was the moment you kind of realized you guys had a chance to pull off something special?
When Katie started putting in goals, we were down. It was probably, they were up. I don't know what the score was, but they were definitely up by a few goals. And El Diabla came out.
It was 5.
Yeah, Lee knows. El Diabla came out and started putting them in, lit a fire under everyone's butt. That's for sure.
I mean, honestly, if you asked me how those last 5 minutes went, I couldn't have told you until I rewatched it. Because in the moment, you don't think about how much time is left. You're just, you think about it, but it's in the back of your mind. You're just trying to put pucks to the net. So that was kind of just everything to the net. I couldn't tell you how it went though until I rewatched it.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like you were maybe in the flow state a little bit there, huh?
Yeah, I blacked out for those last 5 minutes probably.
I bet the pace of the game probably does that with not many whistles happening and things like that. You kind of don't really have a choice but to just keep playing, right? You don't even have time to think about it out there. Does that kind of affect how you guys play out there?
It's different. It was definitely an adjustment. And like Coach Lee has said many times, we didn't figure it out until those last 3 minutes of that game, because there's times where you score and you don't, in regular hockey, of course, you're used to celebrating with your teammates, going through the train. In this, it's just all right, I scored, whoop-de-doo, time to get back and get back going. So, it was fast. It was definitely an adjustment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Katie, Lee mentioned you were named forward of the tournament with an incredible 21 points, 18 goals, and 3 assists. And Anastasia, you connected with her on that championship winning goal. So Katie, kind of walk us through that play and what you saw.
Well, actually, we were just talking about this the other day, how we practiced that morning stretching, because obviously the ice is a lot smaller than the traditional ice surface we play on. So learning how to stretch the zone, and we had Coach Lee and our pre-op president out there with us, kind of just getting in those passing lanes. So we were forced to look up, find different lanes. And in overtime, I remember when I got the puck, I was looking for Sophia, our captain, and I didn't feel it that she was going to see the pass. She had her back to me. So I was like, let me just hold on to it. And thankfully Stas just screamed, she screamed my name. I looked up and there she was. And I think it hit off your big toe. So it's not the prettiest, but it worked. So
it worked.
Yeah. Stas, what did you see out there? What were you thinking?
After OT started, it was kind of, ride or die. This is it, all in. I know, puck went down in our zone. It was kind of an oh shoot moment. They got a shot, went off Kaylee's head, awesome block. And then Katie took that down, and, I was just screaming, hoping someone could hear me. I didn't think I was that loud, and then she found it, nailed it. So pretty sick.
That's awesome. So, coach, this team didn't run traditional positions. You rotated everyone through offense and defense. So, what inspired this approach and how did it bring out the team's best, you think?
Yeah, it was interesting because 3-on-3 is a very different type of hockey. Katie alluded to that a few minutes ago with the no stoppages and, everything's a penalty and every penalty is a penalty shot. So I knew early on when planning that I had to kind of throw out every 5-on-5 tactic that I know. And we actually said to the team that you have the talent, but we have to learn the tactics. And one of the things I realized was that other teams were still changing as forwards and D. And on such a small ice surface with no time, I thought from an acceleration point, it's everyone's got to play forward and D. So the way we quantified that was there's no forwards and defense. There's offensive hockey and defensive hockey, and everyone has to play a role. So instead of forwards and D, we had I called it the baseball lineup, like 1 through 11. This is today's lineup. And we would rotate in that order. The other reason I wanted to do that was an endurance side of things, right? So it's 6 games to win the gold medal. And, in 6 days, right? You have to find a way to prepare the athletes for that. Now our athletes trained and worked really hard to get ready for this event. And adrenaline will take you so far, but if you have a chance to watch that last game, and this isn't a shot at Argentina. I think they ran out of gas, and we had legs, and you can really see that the last 5 minutes of that game, the seesaw tip. So I think that was another benefit to that style of play. But I'll say this: what's cool from a coaching standpoint, and I actually love this. I love that thought of I got to throw everything I know out the window and start from scratch. And then the fact that literally borrowed from another sport in terms of baseball to kind of set that lineup. And Hayley, it's funny because the lineup was very specifically placed. It wasn't in any way like the best player to the worst. We never looked at it like that. It was set up for balance. It was set up to complement players. I mean, Katie and I had a great discussion during the tournament about the lineup and where we should place her and how we should move people around. And I think it really benefited us at the end, especially from an endurance standpoint. But yeah, it's interesting to approach hockey from a really fresh perspective. And that's how that came to be.
Oh, that's so cool. So how much time did you guys have to prepare prior to this tournament? Like, did you have a training camp of some kind? Did you guys meet at all? Like, how did that work?
That's an interesting question. So very, very little. I mean, look, when you coach a national team, we have to use Zoom a lot. So we have a lot of meetings leading up to the event where I do a lot of talking. I do a lot of whiteboarding. I do my best to try and get everybody up to speed. But it's not really till we're at the event. And this is true for all events. We may get a practice. The IIHF was awesome. We had a practice every single day. But we have to learn as we go. And the players will tell you here in a minute too, that, the goal is to get better every game. And we really have to learn as we go. And I'll say it, I totally clicked in the last 5 minutes of the game. It's a perfect play. I mean, it's amazing.
And then for you, like Katie and Anastasia, like how do you go about, like, trying to think how to phrase it? Like, how do you guys like get to build that team culture together? Like, not doing a training camp together. Like, did you guys have a group chat? Like, how did that start? Katie, I'll start with you.
Well, Stas is actually newer to the team, so she didn't really have as much communication with the rest of us. She kind of just clicked with us off the bat. I mean, she was here in Florida when we had a tournament back in August, but up until being in Argentina together, we weren't really in that much communication. A few of us do have chats. We've been playing together the last bit, but other than that, I mean, really it is just group chats, texting, all just being silly before, bonding over like the most random things like a TV show and just talking about that because you want a way to stay in contact. And obviously we're not playing that much hockey together always, so that we have to find other things to just chit chat about. And now that Stas is in, we kind of have our group chats with her, but before then there wasn't much. And then Stas luckily I did say to her that social anxiety is scared of her. She is one of the most outgoing people I've ever met. And she just clicked with all of us off the first night. So luckily she made it easy for us, but all of us have had a little like groups outside of the team chats for a little bit now.
Yeah, I think I just got lucky with how, welcoming everyone was. I mean, the ages are like so different, throughout the team, and still we all connect really well. It was actually really fun because, yeah, I barely knew everyone when we sat down in Argentina, and then we're there for a week, and it's kind of just like a week of college hockey, no school. So I'm rooming with everyone, we're doing team meals, going on walks and stuff. So that's like the first key to bonding. And yeah, I guess I'm a little loud, so definitely not afraid of social anxiety. So that might help a little bit, but
Yeah, that's definitely not a bad thing. It's always good to have someone like the chatter in the locker room. You got to keep the energy up, keep the rhythm going. But kind of circling back to the positionless thing, right? What was your guys' like first reaction to that, and how did it affect how you communicated on the ice? Anastasia, I'll start with you.
I was very defensively minded at first. Lee kept telling me, like, dude, forget the blue line, forget it. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, dude. I gotta just, it's cut out, no offsides or anything. So it did take like the first game or two to realize, move around, skate. You don't have to hold the blue the whole time. But yeah, it sunk in, and eventually, everyone started taking shots from different spots in the rink. So.
Well, I want to say this real quick. So, and I should tell this to the audience too, with like very quickly, the 3-on-3 rules. There are no blue lines. Okay. So the blue line that you see in these games is actually called the retreat line. And the only purpose of that line is after you shoot, if there is a stoppage or a goal, the team that just shot has to retreat behind that line before they can engage. But there's no offsides. There is icing, which is a penalty, right? And the whole ice surface is in play. Now, what's funny about what Stas just said is she was holding the blue line, all this stuff. But on the last goal, she literally jumps all the way down the ice, gets behind the other team's D. It's like, to me, that was cool, Stas, because it's like, wow, you really broke through literally and figuratively of your training. But it's so hard to break the 5-on-5 habits. We even saw that at the first practice that, we were holding the blue line, and it's like, this doesn't exist. It was so hard. Sorry, Katie, I'll let you answer this too. I wanted to share that with the audience because you really have to break your traditional thinking.
I mean, it was tough for me probably the whole tournament. I mean, of course you get used to it. At some points you go out of the zone and you're like, oh, I can go back in. But I mean, as Coach Lee knows, Stas probably knows by now too, just watch me. I like to try and build speed going behind the net. And obviously in traditional, I have to cut shorter because you can't go out of the zone. In this, I thought it was nice that, okay, I don't have room. I can turn out of the zone, have somebody try and crash the net. So it was more of just learning game by game and just kind of yelling to your teammates, keep moving, because everybody also kind of likes when you pull out of the zone, everybody else tries to pull out with you and they don't have to.
Right.
So that was just one part of it, was trying to make sure you're just yelling to each other, don't stop, go. And I mean, the whole tournament, it was definitely a challenge for the mental side of it. You see it and you don't want to think about it, but of course, just it's in you. You're used to seeing the blue line and knowing not to go out. So it was just learning game by game and just being vocal to try and break through that mental barrier.
Yeah, well, look, you both really did that. And one thing I do want to mention is you both displayed incredible leadership during this tournament. And look, part of leadership, it's funny because we talk about this a lot on the show. It's not just wow, you carried the flag and, you put that goal in the net. There's adversity too, right? We lost a game early in the tournament to Argentina. They beat us, I believe, 5-1. But you two rebounded. You found a way. Can you talk about what you learned about confidence, what you learned about leadership? Stas, I'm going to say this again. In the final game, it was a weird game for you, right? Let's be honest. You had every flip-flop moment, but you answered every time. For the younger audience listening, that's a skill. That's not something you just get, right? You have to go through things with that. But let's talk about it. Stas, I'll start with you just because I mentioned it. Just from a leadership standpoint, a confidence standpoint, what did you learn at this event?
I think I learned, honestly, if you're feeling confident, share it with everyone else, pump everyone else up, because it's a group thing, it's a team thing. If you guys aren't all together on the same page, you really need that, what's the word? I don't know. You just need to have good vibes, same level. And I think everyone really understood that, take some shouting, take some yelling, some cheering, pats on the back, but everyone kind of got in the zone. Yeah, this is our game. This is our time to end it.
No, maybe the word's pulse, right? I think you guys had a pulse together in that last
Flow
game.
state.
You know,
Lone State.
I want to shout this out before, and Katie, we'll go to you, is that we mentioned that there's icing in this tournament, right? And Stas, I want to talk about this because I think what you did in response is a great lesson. But at the end of the game, we had a lead, and Stas iced the puck with no time on the clock, and they got a penalty shot and scored. Now, that sounds crazy. It sounds like, but you know, I asked, we talked Stas, and you had said, well, that's what you do. Like, your muscle memory took over. There was no time on the clock. You ice it. Now they scored, and this is what I want to point out. This is how I think amazing you both are. But Stas, there could have been this huge moment of you putting your hands on your head of, oh my God, I just ruined the game. I just cost us everything. There was none of that. We came in. It's like, okay, we're in overtime now. We have to go make something happen. And you did. You know what I mean? You answered the call right away. That, to me, is extreme leadership. I don't think lots of players can do that. I think there's a lot of players who make a mistake and they live in that mistake. And I was confident to put both of you back on the ice after that situation. If we don't explain that to the audience, we don't learn from it, right? So it's like you made a small mental mistake and then you got right back out there and did what you had to do. To me, that's leadership. All right. Katie, I want to throw it to you too. And I'm going to bring this back to a few things. When we said she was forward of the tournament, I think you were 11 or 12 points ahead of the next top scorer. But we talk about this all the time, that the scoring is not necessarily just the leadership. Can you talk about what you had to do in this tournament, maybe mentally, confidence-wise, to bring yourself to the level that you did? Because you were at another level. And we did say it before. The announcers, I could tell that she hates this, but they nicknamed her El Diabla. If you watch the broadcast, they're not even calling you Leffler, as they were saying. They're calling her El Diabla with the puck. Hey, listen, not all of us get nicknames. That's pretty cool. But go ahead, Katie.
So I remember after we played Argentina game 1, you know, I spoke to you before the game and said this could be a good gauge. And of course, then we go out there, we don't play our best hockey, and it was hard mentally, of course, because you're like, they seemed light years ahead of us on Monday night. Right. And we knew that if we were going to win this tournament, we're going to play them 4 days later, and something's got to drastically change. So I remember just the next day we had a doubleheader, which was nice because we were able to win a couple more games, kind of get that behind us. And then you called me after, and we spoke just about how frantic, I guess I could say, I was with the puck. And Monday night, that's how I felt. Like every time we were on the ice, if they'd score, it like I was doing what you just said we can't do. And I felt like I was hanging my head and then trying to do too much. So I think instead of trying to do too much, I tried to slow the game down, like mentally at least. I don't know if it looks like it on the ice, but that's how it feels at least. And try to slow it down, and then include players that aren't always getting in a position to score. You know, when we're up by 5 in a game, try and cycle the puck more, try and move the puck, get people confidence. And then I feel like just obviously I like to talk. So I feel like that's where I can help with the younger girls. Like we have a 14-year-old, 15 now. We have a 15-year-old on the team. And I think she feeds off of any energy. So if you're negative around her, she's going to be negative. If you're positive around her, it'll really lift her. So I feel like that was my focus the next couple of days. Was I was on the ice with her a lot, trying to elevate her, and then go from there. Just every day, try and be like, control the game, slow it down. If I feel myself getting frantic, don't do too much, and just kind of keep it simple. And that's what I preach to I coach U19 girls team. So I always preach to them when we're in a hole, just keep it simple and things will bounce your way. So I think I tried to go off of that.
I got to say this too, you know, Hayley, I'm going to tell you this story as well. You know, I just talked about Stas's leadership, type of person Katie is. Katie requested, we were starting her like at the start of the games. And this is, again, the type of leader she is. She requested to move to a different place in the lineup. And it's not because she's not a good starter. It's she realized her teammates would benefit from her going. She brought that idea to me. That's the type of person that she is. I'm also going to say this too for the audience. We're going to link the video of this comeback. It is miracle level territory what these athletes did. We were down 5-2 with 3 minutes left in the game. Okay, I want you to think about where you're at in the game. If it's 5-2 with 3 minutes left, where your head's at. All right, and Katie went down and did a wraparound goal, literally about, I think, at 3 minutes. And any despair, I think, that may have started to creep into the bench went away immediately. But Katie, not everybody can do that type of thing. Like I said, like Stas, I said about you coming back and being focused. Not everybody can be when that despair is crushing your stomach. And, you know, most people will just throw the puck at the net. They'll just hope. You come down and make this full wraparound. Like, it was like an exclamation point of, we're not done. We're not stopping. that started that triggered the whole thing to go our way. Amongst other things too. Like, look, everybody played a role. I'm not downplaying that, but we're talking about leadership right now. That's tough to do, and you did it.
And I don't remember doing it. That was the best part.
But it was
I don't remember who
Yeah.
scored what goal. I just remember when we took the lead, you see me on the ice jump a little, and I'm like, no, wait, can't get excited. So
no, that was full out discipline. And I said it earlier too. And like Hayley, like early in the tournament, we talked about like if you score, you can't celebrate, and if they score, you can't really feel bad about it. And when you watch, and again, Hayley, you saw it when you watch that last few minutes. It's just pure focus. There's really no emotional attachment. I will say Sabrina, who we're going to have on in a little bit, she did get a go-ahead goal or a leading goal, and she does this little like and then she starts skating back right away. But like the discipline, the focus was there. I mean, as a coach, I was blown away. Someone asked me, and Hayley, I'll throw it back to you. Someone actually asked me after the game, "What did you say to them to spawn that comeback?" And I said, "When your team comes back from 5-2, that's not coaching." That's the athletes deciding they're going to go win the game. I'm not taking any credit for that, right? Like it clicked. It clicked in the right moment.
Well, I think you could probably take a little credit in terms of like the culture that was built. It sounds like, I mean, you guys for sure like talk about how much you're communicating with each other and how much you're like lifting each other up, and that starts from the top down. So I think you can give yourself a little bit of credit there. But it's definitely the athletes too, and what they've learned from their colleges and things like that.
Yeah, look, I'll say this. The gift for me, and I really mean this, and I appreciate what you just said, Hayley, is that I can preach team culture, but at the end of the day, the team has to accept it. And so I think the greatest gift that I get is that acceptance of that. Hey, we trust what you're doing. We trust your plan, and we want to buy into that plan. That's a choice. For the coaches listening, you got to build that, right? In youth hockey, it's a little different. I think kids have to listen, right? They have to do what you say. When you're coaching at this level, it's a choice, right? Like you both played at higher levels than I did, right? It's a choice to listen to me. And I'm always humbled that you do that. But when I'm going to say it again, when you come back from 5-2 with 3 minutes left, it's the personification of that choice, right? I said too, when they were handing the gold medals out, and ladies, I'm sure you felt this too. Every time they put the gold medal on someone's neck, they're also putting it on your neck. Like it's a family moment. You're so happy for everybody else, right? Hayley, you've experienced that too. So it's it's a pretty amazing time and an amazing moment. And I'm thankful to have been along for the ride.
That's awesome.
Hey, me too, man.
So I'll just ask this too, because we have to get some of the other players on YouTube, but just final reflections. We have a lot of young athletes that listen to this show, and I'd love your thoughts for them, whether they're girls playing hockey, boys playing hockey, but they have a dream to play hockey at a high level. This is very weird to say. Everyone on this call is a gold medalist, right? So what is your message to those young kids listening with that dream?
I'll go first, I guess. I think what's kept me playing is I just have so much fun playing. As soon as you take it too serious, which isn't a bad thing to take it serious, but too serious, you're not having fun anymore. That's when your love for the game is going to die. So I think just every time you're out on the ice, be appreciative of that you're still able to play, because some people like you, coach, you have a serious injury. You're not able to get out there and play the level you'd like to play anymore, or even at all right now before the surgery. So as long as you're having fun, appreciating every moment, your love for the game won't die.
Yeah, and I think, you really need to play for the people around you, play for the people that you're sharing the name on the front of your jersey with, because that's what's going to pull you all the way through. You can't do it alone, so you might as well do it together.
Yeah. Hayley, feel free to share your thoughts too on this.
On what? Sorry.
No, just young kids listening with a dream, right? I mean, like everyone here is really pushing that dream forward.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what Katie was saying in terms of keeping it fun. I think that's kind of the cliche I always go back to, because I think sometimes we get really caught up in, just hockey and the seriousness of it and like doing what we're told and being perfect. And it's like, that's not what the game's about. It's about having fun. It's about the camaraderie with your teammates and working together to achieve that goal. And so sometimes I think we kind of lose sight of that a little bit. And so it's just to remember we're having fun out there.
It's got to be fun. I'm going to say it again. There's not a moment, even injured, and I'm not joking here, even injured with the injury that I have in my arm, I don't love going on the ice, getting off the ice. It still stays with you all the time. This has been a wonderful first half of this interview. We've got Katie and Stas on, both former collegiate players with amazing careers, connected for that gold medal. Next, we're going to have two freshmen in college joining us who are also on the team to discuss this further. Our next two guests are both standout freshman players at their school. Sabrina Honeycutt, who plays forward for Liberty University, and Kaylee Awrachow, a name I love saying because it does not spell anything like it sounds, who is a netminder from Miami of Ohio. Both played major roles in the gold medal campaign. Sabrina, Kaylee, welcome to the show. Seeing me in a different light off the bench. I like it.
Yeah, thank you. Here. Thank you for having us.
Congratulations to you both on the gold medal. That's so incredible. Kaylee, I want to start with you. With this 3-on-3 format, you faced a lot of transitions and odd man rushes. So how did you mentally and physically stay ready in all of the chaos?
Well, it was definitely hard. It was not easy. It's a different size rink. There's a lot of missing markers that me personally as a goalie would use to get my angles right or like line up for a shot. So that's definitely an adjustment. Like I said, it's smaller, so there's that and the lack of whistles and everything. But we had practices, we had game experience and everything. With every practice, I would go up to Coach Lee and be like, hey, like, what do you see that I'm not doing right? Like, give me some feedback, like work with me. And so the constant feedback, the working on the little things and everything leading up till game time, till the chip game, it all came together, it all clicked. So
yeah, Hayley, I want to say this too, for Kaylee's position. It was a learning experience from a coaching standpoint too. I remember asking Kaylee, in a normal rink, when the puck's at the other end of the rink, you might be able to kind of relax for a minute. On this rink, it's like, not really, right? Like the puck comes right back, and I was telling somebody that it's 12-minute halves, right? That's how long the game is, and you don't stop. Like if you stop, you might get scored on, right? Another rule I forgot to mention earlier is that if you score from behind the red line, it's actually worth 2 goals. This is serious. This is real IIHF rules. So if a goaltender relaxes, I mean, there were a few of those goals scored during the tournament.
Yeah.
So really, and this was Kaylee's first tournament with the team. So that was another tall thing, just saying, hey, fly away with me to a foreign country to compete with these. Yes, it's a real team. Yes, we're very legit. Yes, this is a real tournament. And she really stepped up and embraced it. But Kaylee, you got better every single game, and I think that we're going to talk about it too. In that last game, it was your second game against Argentina. Again, we lost the first, and you showed up. I mean, and I don't think we talk about it enough. I think in terms of the dramatic comeback, which we've been talking about throughout the episode, we didn't talk about. You made some key saves early on in this game because Argentina came in hard, right? They were shooting from the start. Yeah. You don't make several of those saves, we're not in a position to kind of score those goals. And then I believe Stas said in overtime, you made an incredible save with your head.
Right? There's a few.
Yeah, there's not more than one. I'm glad you're not concussed. Anyway, sorry, Hayley. I just wanted to. I'm trying to give context where I can.
No, that's super helpful. And I think, was there anything that Coach had said that maybe clicked for you in terms of like getting that confidence and adjusting to this new style?
Yeah, I mean, definitely right off the bat, I mean, fresh off the plane, we have our practice. We're a little bit late to it because of everything else going on. But I was so unbelievably frustrated with myself, with everything. And I was just like, I'm not getting it. It's not making sense. And he was just like, you have time. You are doing better than you think. You look better than you think. Like, just take a breath. It'll happen. You'll understand it. Like, just give it time. And so hearing that, I mean, it definitely felt a lot better because from, I mean, a player point of view and everything, you want to show out, you want to do your best, whether it's in practice or a game or anything. So to not feel like I'm doing as good as I am, but then to hear that I'm doing a lot better than I think, it's a lot. It's helpful. It is. So that was good for me.
Good work, Coach.
Thank you.
So Sabrina, you were one of the team's motors out there, I heard, creating chances and matching intensity the whole week. Lee mentioned that you even battled the flu during the tournament and ended up with the Player of the Game award in spite of that. a little Michael Jordan flu game for you. But what clicked for you and your teammates as the tournament went on?
So I actually this is my second tournament going abroad and playing in the IIHF. So for me and a few other girls on the team, like, it was really personal, especially when we were like realizing, oh, we're going to play Argentina in the final. Me and a few other girls that were in Brazil last year were like, all right, this year we're going to play not only for us, not only for the people next to us, but for the people that can't play here or the people that couldn't make it. So we were like, we gotta get this W. Like, there's no other option for us.
You know, I'll say this too, Sabrina, building off that. Again, I keep remembering things about like where the team is at from where we started. We're again talking about this big championship, but my first coaching job with this team, we had 6 skaters, 4D, and 1 goaltender. And for this tournament, I had a player population of about 40 players. That's how much we've grown this year to pick from, right? And just in case anybody listening is wondering, it is insanely hard to whittle your roster down to 11 skaters and 2 goalies. All right. Wow. It's not an easy task, and someone's going to be disappointed. Right. And again, you know, you can always do the hindsight's 2020, but I love that you said that, Sabrina, because there's a lot of athletes that could not be there because either, you know, they weren't chosen or they had some life going on. You know, and the fact that you recognize that is tremendous from a team culture standpoint, from a leadership standpoint, because we talk a lot in the locker room about how, you know, you got to play for the person sitting next to you. It's not just right? It's we. And I really do think that's part of the reason that we found success, right? Especially in the last 3 minutes of the game. You just didn't stop. The team just didn't stop. And you know, I'll say this too. We were joking about it before, so I want to say it. We were joking about how Stas made a little bit of a mental error late in the game because you actually had the game-winning goal in this tournament at one point. But the reason I'm bringing that up, and this is a cool question about how the hockey is played, how we said you don't have time. You don't have time for anything in this tournament because not what you said, Kaylee, but like in terms of during the gameplay, you can't celebrate. You got to keep moving. And we were joking, Sabrina, about how you got that 7th goal or 6th goal. And you did this cute little micro, like, and then you just kind of got back on D right away.
Yeah, well, we burned before on that one, so I was like, gotta get this dub. So
no, it was funny, and again, it just shows. Again, you talked about being there last year. You know, I wasn't the coach at that time, but the team lost to Argentina in last year's IIHF final, and it wasn't an insanely close game. So again, you were battling illness. You scored a major goal at a major moment, and again, we said this in the first half. Gang, that is a skill set. That is leadership. It is not easy when you feel like the whole world is crashing down to rise up and dig deep and find that. That is a championship trait. All right. And I want to impress that upon our athletes. I also want to talk about this too. You know, we showed a lot of resilience in this tournament. We talk about resilience all the time on this show. And we mentioned there was an earlier loss to Argentina where it was a tough loss, right? It was not a confidence builder in any way. So Kaylee, I'll start with you on this one. You know, how did we build our confidence back? What was the locker room like after that, right? Because you had to rebuild a little bit mentally after that game.
Well, it was definitely a lot of talking. We all definitely sat there and we're like, what do we do wrong? What can we do better? Like, what will we focus on to improve and all that stuff? But like to just put it all out there, like admit that some of us might not have played our best and might have hung our heads, but like just to be able to put it all out there and to just be brutally honest with your team because you are with them that whole week and only them that whole week. It definitely helps. It's just like building that trust, building that team like just working together in that way. Like we needed that game more than I wish it went, you know, like yeah, it was a loss, but it showed us what we needed to work on and what we needed to do for the next game. So I think we definitely needed that, and it was a good thing for us. So
Sabrina, you can share your thoughts on that too. Like it was because I think the things that they exposed on our team in that game actually ended up helping us because we really saw what we needed to fix.
Yeah, definitely. And going off what Kaylee said also, like we all had to be very brutally honest with not only ourselves, but with our teammates. And sometimes that is really difficult because you don't want to like offend them or anything, but we're all here to win a gold medal. And caring about somebody's feelings or, oh, that's offensive is not going to help you win a gold medal. And I can say probably with full confidence that after that loss, everybody on our team took it personal. And so, all right, what do we need to work on? What do they do well and what do they do bad? And we focused on that instead of moping on ourselves, be like, oh, we just lost. But we all focused, we all locked in that, all right, this is what we need to work on, this is what we need to do better. They're not going to see it coming in the next game. So,
well, I can't tell you as your coach how proud that makes me. You know, and Hayley, this is something we talk about on the Our Girls show, is that, you know, what's unique for me as the coach of this team, and this is for the audience too, is you know, I'm used to being able to walk in the locker room at any point and coach. You know, when you coach women's hockey as a man, that's not an option. You can't just walk in the locker room, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a tremendous amount of responsibility on the players to lead the way that you both just spoke about, right? Where, you know, I can't necessarily always be that voice. So when players step up and take that level of accountability, as a coach, that is a massive gift. And we talk about the learning team being the best team, where you remove the ego. I mean, I love that you mentioned that. Like, we don't have time to focus on that. We have to get better. And it's such a testament to really all the players that you won a gold medal. I mean, and this shows you why. And boy, I just keep saying this, boy, did it click in the last 3 minutes of that game, what you're talking about right now.
Scary.
You know, keeping everybody on their toes.
Yeah, you know, me, including me. Go ahead.
Me
Hayley,
too.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Well, you know, as teams, you do learn a lot from your losses. So it sounds like you guys really put that in action moving forward. And you could kind of tell, like, watching the game, like going into that overtime, like you guys were ready. You guys, I saw your bench cheering, like you were all like prepared for that moment. And I think it really showed. But, you know, speaking of that, playing for Puerto Rico, I'm sure comes with a lot of pride and purpose. So I want to kind of hear about what the atmosphere was like in Buenos Aires with the fans and the energy, and kind of realizing you're part of something historic here. So Kaylee, I'll start with you on that.
Yeah, no, it was, oh my God. You can't even describe the feeling. I mean, you look up and there is just so many people just watching you, there for you, whether it's for you or against you, they're still there for you. So it was, and I've had crowds before, but not like no one was, it just meant so much more. Like there was so much more than just a game in front of me. It was so much more than like we were playing in a IIHF event for a gold medal. Like, that is just something like you can't describe. Like, that is insane.
Sabrina, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a lot. There was, I think they sold out tickets for that final game.
They did.
Wow.
Yeah, so there was upwards of 600 people in that building watching us play, and it was just electric in there. The crowd was going crazy, and I can't lie, it felt really good to like silence them, like when we scored a goal, quiet down a little bit.
Oh yeah.
But it definitely means a whole lot, especially to know that there are people that are watching at home who can't be here, and just playing for them and playing for the people of the island who don't have hockey, and they're like, oh my gosh, this hockey team is representing us, like, and they're doing well. Like, that's really important. And especially since I've never been to the island, but I have family over there, knowing that they're watching me too, just makes me really proud to represent that country.
That's incredible.
I will add on, you know, this makes me laugh. A few years ago, you know, there was that no one watches women's hockey kind of moniker, and the PWHL has just destroyed that thought. But, you know, it could be easy to say, like, women's hockey in Argentina, they sold out this is a 500-seat arena. All right.
That's
they
awesome.
sold it out. There's 700 people in there. There was people standing around the glass. I mean, flags waving. It was amazing. It was electric. All right. And I have to tell you about this moment. You know, I'm a big storyteller, because I actually thought this one might have been in my head. And then I finally watched the replay of the game before the overtime. And I mentioned that I had 3 skaters that did not see a shift in this game. Okay. That's just part of championship hockey. I had to shorten my bench. Not only were they the loudest proponents of their teammates, I heard them all game, but before the overtime, they started banging their sticks on our bench. And then the whole team started doing it. And I swore that they were louder than the crowd because the crowd was screaming. And I remember on the bench thinking, well, maybe it's just because I'm so close, but man, it sounds like they're matching them. I watched the replay, and these 3, then eventually 11 players are matching the volume of this crowd. And again, this is overtime. The crowd's going nuts. All right. And I mean, I wish there was some scientific evidence to prove that was like another miracle, because I've never seen anything like that. And I'm going to bookend this. They didn't even play in the game. That's the type of teammates that they are, that they were rising up. They were doing anything they could. And I'll tell you what, I looked in the eyes of my players before this overtime, and all I saw was confidence. I mean, there was just no fear. It was just, we're going to go win this game now. And then they went out there and did it. I mean, it was just insane to me. Again, I'm thankful to be along for the ride. I'm starting to monologue now.
No.
Go ahead, Hayley. Sorry.
Well, no, I was just going to agree with you. Like, watching it back, like, that's all I heard was your bench. So
Right.
I think it totally drowned out the crowd. So you're not biased in that sense.
It was weird because that crowd was 500. Remember the movie 300? It was like that. It was like 500 people versus 12. It's amazing.
Well, Lee, from a coaching perspective, what do you think this goal means, not just for Puerto Rico, but for the global growth of women's hockey?
Oh, man. That's a big question. I'll start from kind of the micro and make it macro. For this team specifically, as a coach, when you win anything as a coach, you feel great about it, right? And you partake in it. As a coach, I have never wanted a win for my players more than this team, right? And it's not that I don't want that normally. It's just I wanted these athletes to experience this. They deserved it. They prepared, they trusted in the plan, they trusted in me. And for this season, we didn't have much to show for it. And it didn't seem right. You know what I mean? It's like we were doing the work. So the payoff of that for this specific team is unbelievable. Taking it bigger, we talk every single game, and I say it every single game. Do not forget what is on the front of your jersey. Hayley, again, you get to represent USA. These athletes get to represent Puerto Rico, which I would say is a pretty underserved hockey market, in the world. And Sabrina mentioned it. I know Kaylee has family too. To reconnect with your heritage, to understand there are people in San Juan, across the island, watching these games. There's families across the world watching these games. That is not something a lot of people get to experience. And I really do think that when you win that gold, you are sharing that with, and they say, we won. That's what you hear from the island. We won a gold medal, right? It's not just somebody else won it. And then getting even bigger, talking about, where this goes, I got to give a big shout out. The NHL, the Hockey News, the IIHF, Hip Latina. I mean, so many publications have shared this win, right? And it's not just because it was a dramatic win. It's showing the power of what a nation can do, what unity can come from this, right? And then from women's hockey, man, it was a sold out arena in Argentina. Like, if you go back 5 years ago, no one's believing anything. No one's believing Puerto Rico has a team, much less a women's team. No one's believing there's hockey in Argentina, right? I mean, I said it in one of my posts. My players are all trailblazers, every single one of them, whether they were on this team or any other team that I've coached. Because every time they step on the ice, this is true for you too. It's true for Katie and Stotts. It's true for every player on my team. And you girls know this. There's some young kid watching this that has never seen it happen. Like, no woman of Puerto Rican heritage who wants to play hockey has ever seen a team win a IIHF gold medal until now. That did not exist. Now, for me growing up, I've seen my teams win gold medals as a male hockey player. I was raised on it, right? You guys are trailblazing every single time you step on that ice. All of you. Hayley, you're obviously included in this too. Don't get me wrong. I'm just high up on my team at the moment.
Of course.
But, like, to me, I think that's the point that a lot of people miss, is that you might never have seen this before. And I did share with my team that, my daughter's a hockey, but she watches this stuff. She says Puerto Rico is my favorite hockey team. Like, that's not a thing a few years ago. Like, that's why this is such a trailblazing moment. And, again, Kaylee and Sabrina, I've told you, she watched that game. Like, there's a video of her. My wife took a video of it, like, at the win. And it's like that moment, you talk about growing the game. Like, what does that moment mean for her? She's 9. In 10 years, what does that become? And who is she trailblazing for? Again, I'll get off the soapbox here. I gotta say, I'm just so humbled to be the coach of this team because I'm watching trailblazing all the time, and I'm along for the ride. The athletes to me are the heroes here. Again, Hayley, you too. I really hope I'm not.
You do not have to. No, this is about them. No, you're good.
It's amazing to me. It is. I appreciate every coaching journey I've been on. This one's special. I mean, it's a totally different thing. And I love every minute of it. I love coaching this team. I mean that.
That's incredible to hear. I'm sure you guys as players are, you've heard him say it, I'm sure already, but I'm sure it's very impactful. And kind of speaking about young girls, like watching this, like, what's your kind of advice to them about, maybe players who are dreaming about playing internationally one day, but they're not really sure where to start? Do you guys have any advice for them? Sabrina, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I definitely say if you want to start, just start. Like, I started really late because I wasn't sure. Like, I have 2 brothers that started playing before me. I was dragged to all their games, so I'm like, you know what? Start playing hockey. And this is where it brought me. And also just train as much as you can. It definitely pays off. So just start. It's totally worth it. You get to end up playing international hockey if you get there one day, and it's definitely amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely in like similar boat. I also started really, really late. I was started in high school. So it all depends on the work that you put in, the effort that you put in. That's what you'll get out of it, like if you can get on the ice often, if you can get in the gym often, if you could go on a run, like just do what you can, and whatever happens. I mean, I don't even know how I got here. I got a call from Coach Lee. He was like, you know what? And I was like, yeah, I mean, of course I'm coming. Yeah, can't pass that up. So, it's just the effort that you put in is what you'll get out of it. And I mean, that's all you can do.
Yeah. And I'll follow up with that too, saying that for a team like this, look, the age range of this team, our youngest player was 13. And again, she's quite good at the game. I won't say how old our oldest player was, but there was a big age gap on this team. The reason I'm bringing that up is also Kaylee heard about this team, I believe, a month before the tournament, right? We had been in a little bit of contact, but she literally figured this out a month in and jumped on board, whereas Sabrina has been on for a long time, right? So when you think about the dynamic, you've got players that have been here for years, players who have been here for months. You've got young players, you've got older players. It's an amazing dynamic, and they all have to come under one flag, one thing for you to play for. I mean, it really shows how the team bond is. And Hayley, I actually got a question for you too. One of the things I love about the IIHF, and I should say it's the International Ice Hockey Federation. For those of you who don't know, I should say that it's basically the governing body of hockey for the world, right? This is who is involved in the Olympics, the World Championships. If you ever watched the World Junior Championship, that's usually the most popular one. It's all the same, right? But the IIHF really bonds the hockey world. So Hayley, it's a place where people such as yourself and these athletes can all compete for gold in some form. What is your take on how the IIHF impacts the game? And I said before to our other 2 guests, everyone here is a gold medalist in the IIHF. I mean, it's amazing when you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's incredible, like, when you do get to meet for tournaments like that, like a World Championships or an Olympics, and you see all of these countries that are able to come in and join, and all the new countries that have started to have teams, and it really is growing exponentially, and it's really fun to see. And then in terms of the disparity between the teams, like, that's also getting closer. And our last tournament in Czech was absolutely incredible. The fan base was there the whole time for the Czech team and for other games. Like, they showed up. And I just think they really help cultivate the growth of the game that's kind of already there, and it kind of keeps it growing exponentially.
Yeah, and it really is amazing. And again, for the audience listening, the 3-on-3 tournament, is not a one-off thing. They are looking to grow this game. You know, the real quick info on it is that it's a lot easier to build these smaller rinks because the rink is about half the size of a normal rink in the city, right? This tournament took place downtown Buenos Aires. We were in the city. And it's also great for nations and countries that maybe don't have the massive hockey population of a USA or a Canada to get them on the ice. So it is a massive part of growing the game. And the IIHF really does an amazing job with that aspect of it. But guys, listen, that's our time. Kaylee, Sabrina, just tremendous stuff, not just on the ice, but off the ice. Can't thank you guys enough for being here.
Thank you for having us. No, this is actually insane. So thank you.
You earned it, kid. All right, go ahead, Sabrina.
No, I said thank you for having us. Great talking.
Well, I don't usually get to see this, but I'll see you guys soon. And all right, that's going to do it for this edition of Our Girls Play Hockey. Remember, if you have a topic or a thought or something you want to talk about, email us at team@ourkidsplayhockey or look at the links accompanying this video. We'll put the full comeback video in there. You can also just message us anything with your name. It's all in the description following the show. But for Hayley Scamurra, I'm Lee Elias. We will see you on the next Our Girls Play Hockey. Thank you for taking a listen to our journey, my friends. I hope you learned something. Take care. We hope you enjoyed this edition of Our Kids Play Hockey. Make sure to like and subscribe right now if you found value wherever you're listening, whether it's a podcast network, a social media network, or our website, ourkidsplayhockey.com. Also, make sure to check out our children's book, When Hockey Stops, at whenhockeystops.com. It's a book that helps children deal with adversity in the game and in life. We're very proud of it. But thanks so much for listening to this edition of Our Kids Play Hockey, and we'll see you on the next episode.